Hi. Today we will be discussing two important parts of global warming and climate change. In this era, we are doing a lot of things. Whole world basically is doing a lot of things, and the two major things I will discuss today is the carbon credit versus your REC, Renewable Energy Certificate. Is very important because आजकल क्या होता है ना, you know, everything based on the global warming and carbon offset and greenhouse gas emission. तो उसमें it's very important है. तो it's better to understand in a very layman language क्या होता है ये चीज़, इसमें advantage क्या होता है जानने के लिए, जानने से क्या होता है and what we gain from it. So by definitions, carbon credit sometimes is noted carbon offset credits, right? And carbon certificates or carbon certificates. अगर REC का बात किया जाए, REC is renewable energy certificates. ये tradable environmental commodities. This is a tradable environmental commodity, and that represents the environmental attributes associated with the generation of renewable energy. So it is actually related to generation of renewable energy, REs. So this is the definition. By definition, these two are like this different. One is carbon offsetting, one is generation of renewable energy. Purpose, what is the purpose of these two things? So carbon credit purpose, it's a key component of carbon offsetting mechanism or schemes which are aimed at reducing the greenhouse gas emissions. And what is greenhouse gas emissions? There are six greenhouse gas emissions. Usme the powerful potent is that carbon dioxide. Everything we are emitting by burning fossil fuel, हम जब burn करते हैं ना, the oil, gas, natural gas, diesel, whatever the hydrocarbons we are burning, that is creating greenhouse gases. And one of the greenhouse gases potent is carbon dioxide. So our aim to reduce these carbon dioxide gases from the atmosphere, so that the atmosphere little bit better to live. So that is the greenhouse gas emission, and these credits are generated through projects. ये credits जो है ये project से generate होता है that either reduce or remove greenhouse gases emissions from the atmosphere. These projects, if we implement these projects, they will either remove or reduce the greenhouse gases from the atmosphere. That is the part. That is purpose of the carbon credit. And what is the purpose of the REC, Renewable Energy Certificate? So, on purchasing of RECs, consumer can claim that a portion of their electricity or all of their electricity, which has been made through the renewable energy sources, even if their homes and businesses comes from the traditional fossil fuel electricity. That means if you purchase the REC, you can claim that you have purchased the green power which is not from the fossil fuel, and that's why you can offset some of your purchased fossil fuel power through the RECs. That is the purpose. इसका scope क्या होता है? What is the scope? Scope means here we are talking about the scope of emissions. Emission scope का three scopes are there. One scope number one is direct emission, which is actually generated from directly burning the fossil fuel, like direct electricity generation and direct other industrial activities, which is actually producing the emissions directly. Scope number two is the indirect emission. Indirect emission क्या होता है? That purchase electricity and heat is the indirect emissions. So I am purchasing from other sources which is not generated in my premises but purchased from other sources. And scope number three जो emission होता है, that is from other sectors, like you are producing some steels or manufacturing some cements and products like that way. These products are you are transporting to other countries, or you are transporting to inside the domestic market through the truck, to the trailer, and sometimes by the airplanes on these things. So they are actually emitting some emissions. These are called scope 3 emissions, which is difficult to not so much difficult, but it is a little bit difficult to calculate apart from scope 1 and 2 emissions. But this carbon credit system, it's dealing with scope 1, 2 and 3 all emissions, and REC, Renewable Energy Certificate, they are dealing with only scope 2 emission, which is purchase electricity. That's all. This is the very simple way. So market mechanism क्या है? What is their market mechanism? So we are talking about the carbon credits. Carbon credits का market mechanism, what is that? It is a tradable certificate which constitutes 1 ton of GHG emission being reduced, protected or removed from the atmosphere via offsetting projects. So it is a 1 ton of GHG emission either reduced or protected or removed from the atmosphere by offsetting by offset projects. That is the market mechanism. And RECs क्या होता है? What are the RECs? Are tradable on various renewable energy markets. Various renewable energy markets can be purchased by business, governments and individuals also, and willing to support the renewable energy generation and reduce the carbon footprint. Finally, when you purchase the renewable energy, what you are doing basically you are reducing some of the fossil fuel consumption in fossil fuel generated power plants, so thereby reducing the emission. So that is very easy. Now we come to the units of measurement of the carbon credit. So 1 ton CO2 equivalent, 1 metric ton of CO2 or CO2 equivalent. That is the unit of carbon credit or emission, carbon emission, and REC is the megawatt hour. 1 megawatt hour equal to 1000 kilowatt hour. That is the units of measurement. What is the upgradation of these two mechanisms? Carbon credit, let us talk about carbon credit. So environmental upgradation is from low to high and depending on the project type and quality. Means environment जो condition में अभी है, in the state of which the environment is present here, we are bringing the environment in a very higher quality one by the different carbon offsetting projects, and the quality also improving. That is the upgradation scope. And what is the upgradation scope in REC? It is the environmental upgradation is bare minimum, because what we are doing it here, we are replacing a source of fossil fuel with the renewable energy which is not emitting the greenhouse gas or carbon dioxide. So the scope is bare minimum. Then another thing is there, what is called the quantification and verification. How I quantify the carbon offsetting mechanism and verify it, and REC also. So the Q and V quantification and verification methods जो carbon offsetting mechanism में है, these are matured enough, but still it is in the process of continuous development. The new things are coming up so that we can precisely quantify and verify this thing. And REC is also in continuous evolving phase. The present verification methods are adequate. Nobody is challenging this thing, adequate, but still, like offsetting mechanism, they're getting evolved, always getting evolved. And what is the impact of on footprint of the carbon footprint on these things? So if we talk about carbon offsetting mechanism, then it's the carbon credits or offset. It doesn't necessarily reduce the buyer's direct footprint. Whatever we are doing, it not necessarily reducing the buyer's direct footprint, but it is reducing the producer's direct footprint, right? And for this REC, it lowers the scope 2 emission, indirect purchase electricity by sourcing the renewables, thereby offsetting some generation of carbon dioxide, but scope 2 emission is reduced. So these are in general very in a lucid manner. So simply हम बात करें तो these are the two parts. What is carbon credits and what is REC. I am Vivek Roy. My channel is Energy, Power, Environment. Please like it, share it, and don't forget to subscribe. I will come up with the new more videos and it will encourage me. It will take for you a second, but it will give enough boost to come with the new videos to you. Till then, see you. Goodbye.